Well, welcome to another fly tying video. This is Rob Mukai at the Coco Taiko Inn in Ixcalac, Mexico. Today we're going to do something a little different, and it's interesting because it's something I've just been playing around with the last couple of years, because one thing we've noticed is we do have this infestation of Sargasso that keeps coming back. Didn't have it too bad last year, but this year, and looks like we will start getting some. But when you get some Sargasso in the water, one of the things you'll find is in the Sargasso there's all kinds of fish and crabs, and there's actually a Sargasso crab. And one of the things that we've done, what I've done is actually found some of them in there. The first time I saw one, it was a grackle, bird, was like on top of a floating mat of Sargasso, and it was like picking crabs out of the Sargasso, bringing them back to the shore and eating them. And I actually, scared one away just to see what the heck it was eating, and it was one of these crabs. Anyway, I thought, well, okay, maybe the permit will eat them, and it turns out, yeah, they do. And been playing around with this new pattern, and so I'll show you how to do that right now. It's actually fairly simple to tie once you get all the bits together, but it takes a lot of bits. So, okay, so here is an actual tied version of this. As you can see, the claws are actually made of EP Silky fibers. I've put a little UV cure glue on the ends to make the claws. The body is actually a 2mm white foam, actually, and I used the Marigold Sharpie for the color, which is perfect. And then I've got, the two eyes, little flash in the middle. And then these legs here are just tied off. They're Chicones Crusher Legs, that's what those are. But anyway, so the idea with this thing is that it floats in the surface, and then the way that I've got the claws, they will pull across the face as you strip it. And so this is a floating crab, floating swimming crab, and this has been kind of fun to play around with. It's something that I don't think until the last few years that the permit even knew existed, but now whenever these bits of sargassum come in, they know that there are crabs to eat. And so when you get floating sargassum in there, it's great to use these. So anyway, to start, what we use for a hook, this is a Gamakatsu SC15 size 2. This is a good all-around permit hook. It's got a wide gap, so it's great for crabs because it gives you a little room. So the first thing we're going to do is put on some eyes. I made these myself. I used, and you can check out the video. I'll have it, links to it in the show notes. But they're basically just these guys. Take these, I don't know, what is it, maybe 1/4 of an inch. Just kind of, so, you see what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of pinching them down, and then with my nippers or wire cutters, just kind of bending it there, and then oops. So what you end up with are these little flattened bits that have a, see, here we go. Can you see that? And what you do here is just kind of in the center have the hook part kind of turned in. All right. Now with these crusher legs, these are, the Chicones Crusher Legs are like really long, which is great for these. So they're like, I don't know how long these are. It's really long. But you can just take one, and the body on this is just about an inch long, and the legs should be about 2.5 times that. So make it about 2.5 inches. Along with these, it kind of works out that if you double it over and cut, and then double it over again and cut, you end up with like four legs that are approximately the right length. Now, all I'm going to do with these is just kind of do an overhand knot. You kind of want to get them, I don't know, can you see this? Like this, and if you keep tightening it, you can make it so that they angle at the right direction. If you do it too tight, they'll actually straighten out, but I give it about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch long on either side. So, and then, you know, you can keep playing with it until they're both kind of, you want them kind of moving in the same direction. So, alright, so got something that looks like this, and you want 3 of those. I find that if you do them all in advance, it helps, because you can just don't have to spend time farting around with them, trying to make yourself some legs. Here I've got 3 of them, and what you want to do is you want to kind of just center them. Some of these are longer than others, and that's okay. Just make sure that you get them kind of all centered, like this, and then tie them to the back, so behind the eyes, and then just kind of loosely wrap them a couple of times, and then kind of pull them to the back. And again, this is one where you want to kind of pull them tight and then tighten the thread, and that kind of spreads them out like this. We've got some, when we're gluing it together, we'll have time to mess around with it, but that's kind of how it looks right there. Now for the claws, how I make these, they basically look like this. You see this? It's just EP fibers. I use EP Silky fibers. These are the EP Silky fibers in 3D Silky in sand. And the way we make these, it's pretty simple, but so you get your fibers, you get a clump. This may be a little bit on the thick side, but it's alright. And again, we want it about 2.5 inches, so this is actually a little bit more than 2.5, but we can just cut them in half. Close enough. Basically, you just want to tie a knot in the end, and if you twist it like this, you can make an overhand, or like a loop like this. And I use this, this is a CNF bodkin, let's see here. But I don't know if you can tell, but it's got a hook on it, which makes it really nice for this. But you just go through the loop, grab the tag in there, and then just pull it all the way through. And then give yourself enough for a claw, and just tie it and pull it tight. So there you go. On one side, and then again on the other. Again, if you twist it, gives yourself a loop. And then, so that's kind of what it looks like. So what I'll do is I'll take this bit and use some of this Solari's, what is this? There we go. That's upside down. Flex, and then you just kind of put it on just the end bit here. You can use the thin hard too, but I kind of like the flex. But you just kind of work it into the fibers like this, and then kind of work it out so you get a bit of a flare to it. Get a flare to it like this, and then hit it with the UV light. Sorry, my UV light doesn't quite make it over there. Then do the same thing on the other side. And hit it with the UV. And then once you do that, then you can like just kind of clip it into a cloth shape. I don't know if you can see that. And then this side. So it looks kind of like this. And then once you've got that, then you can put it onto the front. So just tie it like this, kind of do a couple loose wraps, make sure everything's centered. The next little bit are the mouth parts, and we'll just use some crystal flash and pearl. You can probably take your pick, but how I do this is I'll just double it over again, and then just kind of double it over the thread, and then just kind of put it in the middle. Alright, and then that's it for the tying. So I'll just do a quick whip finish on this. So the shell back is actually cut out of this 2mm white foam. So it's, you know, basically this, and then the bottom bit is this. So basically this part is this bit without the little wings on it. So if they go together, oops, like this, so you can see that where the wings come out, and that's where the legs will come out too. So the way we attach this is I like to use this marine goop. See that? Marine goop. But this stuff does not like to stick to anything. So what I do is I'll use my bodkin and just kind of scratch it up a bit, put some holes in it. So I don't know if you can see that, just to give the glue some purchase. And we'll put just a big lump. This goes on the bottom. Make sure the eyes stick out. And then for the top, again, kind of rough it up. And then put this on top like this. Now, really make sure everything is kind of where you want it. So, you know, pull the legs out so that they're sticking out the sides. One thing, make sure the eye of your hook is clear. Make sure these little crystal flash bits are clear as well. And then this is where we get tricky. So I use these little clothespins to kind of hold it together. So get it in as close as you can to the hook shank, and then on both sides. So, oops. Again, make sure you get everything where you want it. Now it's kind of a pain, but as this thing starts to dry, just kind of open it up and make sure that it's still how you want it, because it'll still give you a little bit of time to mess with the, move the legs around or move the claws around. Okay, so I've left this out for like 10 minutes, or in the clips, and you can see where the clips kind of push in on that. Don't worry about that, that'll come out as over time, but just make sure if you've got like little bits of glue, pull those off, like make sure that the mouth parts are coming out of the middle, and get the excess glue out of there too. Got some extra glue here, and then once you're happy with it, just kind of put them back in the clips, and I leave them in overnight just for giggles, yeah, just leave them smashed like that, and then the next day you just come out and you hit them with the Marigold Sharpie. This is the infamous Marigold Sharpie. It is really hard to find because it's been discontinued. It's been discontinued for a number of years, but it was part of the Earth Tone collection, which also has olive, which is another very handy color to have. But yeah, if you can get this, that's what colored this bad boy, and it's almost exactly Sargasso colored. So yeah, band the arms. I band the arms here, and then just kind of put a mottled look on the back, and then on the bottom a little bit less, because you kind of want it to be a lighter color on the bottom than you do on the top. But anyway, this is kind of it. Boy, I cast this to some tailing permit that were inside some patches of Sargasso, and they started just coming after it, and I thought I had I come tight, and I thought I had a permit on. Turns out a bonefish took this right off the top, so kind of weird, but you do know that the fish are actually eating these things, and this is like kind of new to their diet, and it's kind of a new design for well, the design's not super innovative or anything, but it definitely is something that's imitating a new prey species. But anyway, give it a try. Again, come down to Ishkalak, see if you can catch one on top. All right.